Hello, my name is Lieutenant Justin Sherman, and today I'm sharing a short story, really that the entire cutter that I was on as an ensign experienced, but it's a pretty fun one. So first off, I was a student engineer. I was assigned to the Coast Guard cutter Sherman. Yes, that is my last name, and I did ask to go to that ship for that reason. But so I was assigned as a student engineer on board Coast Guard cutter Sherman. And we were on a Jayada South patrol. So we were down off the west coast of Central America. So we were in the Eastern Pacific. And we were there to intercept drug runners. And as a student engineer, you spend a lot of time inside the hull of the ship. You're down in the engine room, working with the machinery, operating the engineering plant. And so you're not always at the center of all of the action. But on this particular day, I felt like I was at the center of the action because it was actually the 1st of January. So we were underway over the holidays. It was a new year. And we had actually had 2 drug busts already on that day. So we had intercepted 2 small pangas, both carrying bales of cocaine. So we intercepted them. The crew was ecstatic. We'd had a successful patrol so far. I think that was our 5th or 6th drug bust of the entire patrol that we've been out there. And so a lot of high energy, a lot of good morale. We'd come off some New Year's Eve celebrations the night before. And the night was winding down. I had just gotten on to the 20 to 24 watch. So I had the watch right before midnight, and I was the engineer of the watch down in the engine room. And it was about probably 20:30, so 8:30 p.m. and we get a call from the bridge, and they said, "Hey, we have another potential drug bust coming our way. So let's get the engines online and ready to go." So that's pretty exciting. It's always exciting to get the turbines spooled up, ready to go for some fast running. So we're getting that ready to go, and maybe 10-15 minutes later, the bridge calls down and it's like, "We need to go. We have what we think is a positive identification. We've got a fast moving contact on the radar, and we're ready to go." And so we bring up the engines. This is pretty exciting. We're down in the engine room. And this is the epitome of excitement in the engine room is bringing up our big turbines. So we're bringing them up. We're like, we're getting people to where they need to be to get the job done. And so we're getting ready for that. We know there's going to be flight quarters. We know they're going to be launching the helo off. We know they're going to be launching the small boat. There's a lot of action going on, and a lot of that is supported behind the scenes by what's happening in the engine room. So a lot of moving parts. All the members of the watch team down in the engineering room are busy. We're all busy, and we are really, really hoping to get this third drug bust. It's the third. It would be the third one of the day. We're really trying to intercept them before midnight. A lot of times these chases can go a really long time, especially at night, especially in the dark. And so that's kind of the chatter or talk among all the watch teams is, are we going to be able to get this drug runner? Well, first of all, will it be a positive hit? Will there actually be bales on board? And if so, will it be our third one? We'll be able to get it before midnight. And I think there was something of no cutter in recent history had more than 2 interceptions in a day, and so we were really trying to break that record or start a new streak. So we were already tired. The crew in general was tired from a full day of interceptions, and yet all of a sudden we're spooled back up. We're ready to go because here's our opportunity to kind of break a record, or at least a local record. So lots moving on, lots going about the ship. There are pipes, so announcements going off left and right, calling off different things, flight quarters, launching the small boat, getting the LE team ready. And after maybe about 45 minutes, all of our assets are away. So the helo's away, the small boat's away, and the chase is on. We're going, our small boat's going faster, our helo's going faster, and we're just kind of going along as fast as we can. But at this point, the cutter is just there for support. And again, we have communication with the bridge. We can kind of hear what's going on. We don't hear everything that's happening, but we hear them call down to CIC, and they say, "CIC, do you have comms with the small boat? We've lost comms with our small boat." And nothing. And so there's kind of this scramble to find out what has happened to the small boat, just standard safety procedures. We are able to communicate with the helo, and they say, oh, we have eyes on, and so we're like, okay, pretty good, but we need that information about what's happening down on the water. How are things going? The small boat gets pretty far away. I think they determined it was far over the horizon, and so greater than 10 nautical miles away, and the chase just kind of continued. We, in a way, lost comms, or they were only checking in every once in a while, but there were not really. There weren't much updates. They're just like, we're chasing it, we're trying to gain on it as fast as we can. And the helo's there, trying to find them and locate them, try to get good eyes on using the equipment they have on board to see if there's anything that looks like bales potentially. And so it's getting close. I mean, at this point it's 2200, maybe even 10:30, and of course everyone's really antsy. They're really wondering, like, are we gonna get this? Like, are we gonna get a positive ID on some cocaine bales? And the other cool piece to this is that we were able to, when the ship was using its cameras, its IR cameras, they actually patched that into one of the local TV networks, so you could tune in to see what the ship was seeing. And we actually had that playing in the engine room, so we kind of felt like we could see what the ship was seeing. And at the time, it was just kind of a gray ocean in the IR light, but we're trying to see, and finally, a couple minutes later, the cutter comes up on the small boat, who we had heard had apprehended the vessel, or had gotten the vessel to stop, and we see that they had stopped the small boat. They'd pulled them alongside. We could kind of see the wash from the helo a little bit out of the way, and now we're just all waiting. We're just waiting to see what happens, what they're able to identify, and and so what we are able to do is we wait for them to get positive identification, and when we hear over the radio, we hear bales, 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 which is for us like the magic word, and that means that we got it, that they were able to positively identify that there were bales on board, and so that was our third drug bust of the day. We were all pretty excited. Long story short, we do all the processing and paperwork we need to do. It gets pretty late, but I get off watch around 2300. We're not even close to done processing it, but I mean, none of us can sleep. The whole boat is up. There's a lot of people on the mess deck, people in the wardroom watching the feed on the television before they come back to the ship, and it's really just it was a kind of another night of an atmosphere of celebration, which was pretty cool to just experience that as a crew, to be part of kind of a mini monumental moment like this of having a third drug bust in one day. So it was just a great story. Again, not necessarily something that I was personally part of, but that we as a crew experienced, and really showed me just the camaraderie that you can share with a crew, and the joy it brings to accomplish a mission like that with a unit of people. So that's my story of the 3 drug busts in one day from Coast Guard Cutter Sherman when I was an ensign.